Now, back to the Griot Nation with Amon Rashidi and Unseen.
How have you been?
Brother, first of all, Mr. Bishop, thank you, man. I just want to say hotel to the Griot Nation. I appreciate Brother Khalil Muhammad for actually setting this up for us, brother. And I want to be able to utilize this forum as a way to talk to ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. And I'm thanking the world of you, too, brother, for what you do. You've been hearing me on the radio, but I've been hearing about what you've been doing on the street. So when I'm on the radio, I'm only talking about what we do on the street. So it's only fair that we get together, brother, and build together. So, brother, I appreciate you, Hotep, and welcome to the family.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. We are on the front lines here in the Rough Buff in Buffalo, New York. We certainly were blessed when you were here last in the city. But here we are in the struggle. And while I would love to be in Chicago today at the opening of the UNIA convention, the fact remains maybe tomorrow or the next day, inshallah, we'll be able to be there. But in the meantime, this has been a wonderful time to be working in Buffalo. Our own student minister, Brother David Muhammad, and Brother Khalil Muhammad, and all the family. We're getting ready. We're going to look forward to October 10-15, when all minds everywhere are headed towards the gathering. We're going to be there, brother. We're going to be on the bus, but in the meantime, we're going to work until the last minute because the struggle is before us.
Well, you know what, man, I want to say thank you again, Asante Son, and for what you do and all the brothers. And, I was there, 20 years ago, and I took 10 other brothers with me. And at that time, I made a commitment to engage in popular culture with a conscious message. And little did I know that Griot Nation would be born out of this idea. And it came from that experience with standing, in the midst of what I believe to be almost 2 million brothers and standing up and seeing it. I'd never seen nothing like that in my life. And just that iconic view of what I saw has been imprinted in my mind forever. And I understand what the minister is saying when he's saying, this is not just, this is something that I think is a continuation. We don't see this as an event. We see this as a continuing process. And, with that being the case, I want to say Griot Nation is open, our airways, what we do, whatever we can, man, to assist, because we are part of this one family. And so you just keep me posted, on some of the things we can do. And one of them is getting you on the air, letting you keep us posted on what's going on and some of the things that, we need the people to do.
Well, absolutely. There are 140,000 Africans here in metropolitan Buffalo, right here on the border with Canada, on the west coast of New York State, the terminus of the Erie Canal, the terminus of the Underground Railroad, where 30,000 of our ancestors, with all much respect, made the transition across the mighty Niagara into freedom. One of those was my great-great-great-grandfather, Charley Fisher, who had escaped a plantation, the clutches of that, and was on the Underground Railroad and encountered John Brown, who asked him to go and join him in the Harper's Ferry Rebellion. Of course, he said, people have risked their lives for me to get to Canada, and that's where I'm going to go, but I wish you well. That was recorded. That was the conductor actually wrote down that message, and I have that in my family now. He went on after 1865. He went to Mississippi. He was unwilling, my brother, to go to Louisiana, where the former plantation owner was, but he got 3 counties to the border. He went on to become a state senator in Mississippi. It was my great-great-grandfather. We're standing on the shoulders of all those who paid a price. But now, how much more can we do, brother, in maintaining the struggle for African people and the complete liberation of African people throughout the world, and in particular, this Americas, where while we are 140,000 strong, Africans are at least 50 million people. We are not free, and we must struggle to be free. And so that's why we must join together. That's why when you come here to Buffalo, you come with the liberation spirit. You come with the Rhema word, a good word. And we're still relishing that word you dropped on us that has resulted in so many powerful things. There's power in your words. There's energy in your words. And that's why we're the better for it here in Buffalo. But we want you to come back soon inshallah. Come back to this place, Buffalo, because what happened in Ferguson, we have a place in Buffalo called Cheektowaga. It's just about 8 years behind Ferguson. So what's going on in Ferguson could easily be Cheektowaga, the same metrics, the same conditions. And so we have to be ready. And Africans here, we are trying to organize. So what happened in Ferguson can't happen in Buffalo. What happened in Cleveland and Baltimore can't happen in Buffalo. And sometimes, my brother, that even when you have an African mayor, council president, majority leader, chairman of the Civil Service Committee, and so forth, it still is a struggle. And that's why we can't come down from our posts, regardless of who these little so-called gains politically. You understand what I'm saying?
You know what, man? I always say, powerful people don't teach powerless people how to take their power away, but black faces in high places that damn sure don't necessarily mean success. And I think that we come into a society where like materialism has become a religion and materials have become our God. And the more money you have, the easier it is to wash away all your sins and all the ignorance. And the more prestige you have, the more we look and admire you. When one time the people that we admire really had no resources, but they were rich in people and value in deeds. And that's all what we're trying to do at the Griot Nation. And I want to go back to what you said, brother, about Mr. Fisher. Mojah Bar to the spirit of that ancestor who's a part of our family. And that's why I was drawn to Buffalo, man, and realized that from this East Southern Hemisphere where we are, this is where our people fought and migrated, and Harriet Tubman fought to get us up there to where you are now. And it's only right, man. I don't think it's by accident, by divine intervention that Griot Nation would have got its foundation right there in Buffalo, And I think those same freedoms can be fought there, man, because we just got to connect together. And I thank Brother Khalil because he's been a catalyst for putting us together. And that's why I like to bring other brothers to the table. And I can already feel it in your energy, brother. Your love and commitment, man. It just made me want to fight harder, to make things right for us. So, if you got some things, brother, like I say, I ran into a brother kind of back to what you were saying, too, really about Pan-Africanism, is when I met a brother named Mansfield down here who has the Queen of Sheba. And I was listening to him, and this brother was from Ethiopia, and he was talking about how he don't see things sometimes like maybe some of his other original African brothers see it. He understands the mask that we wear and that we've all been colonized. And he was talking about how we need to unite together. We may be one people as black people when we come in as Ethiopians and come in as, people from Egypt and all the aspects of that, Nigeria. We one big mass. We're to be reckoned with. And that's why I say OW, that one world family. That's what I want to do at Griot Nation, is bring the families of African people all over the diaspora together. Maybe you can help me with that. Maybe every other week we have somebody on the show, man, so we can hear from somebody from our home and still recognize that we family.
Yes, sir. Well, my brother, I just want to say that and listening for the many of our community, communities throughout the diaspora that who are hearing this, the prophet Amos was asked the question, what is in your hand? What's in your hand? He had a tool called a plumb line, which became an instrument of justice and a measuring stick of equity. And so wherever you are, wherever you find yourself to be, where African people are, there is plenty of things to do. Here in Buffalo, it's on the border with Canada, and it's at the extreme west of New York State. It's right not far, 3 hours from Cleveland, Ohio. One of the things here is a border. Now, of the 140,000 Africans in metropolitan Buffalo, in the context of a billion and 3/4 Africans on the face of the planet, when those come, when some Africans from the motherland come, they come to Toronto, they come to Canada, come to Buffalo, they come to the border, we are establishing an Aquaba house. In the African terminology, I guess it's supposed to be a welcoming center. Why is it that Africans come from Africa and find themselves in the Catholic charities or other peoples who tell them to stay away from their local community? We should be the first ones with the flag, red, black, and green, the flag of Nigeria, the flag of Ghana, Senegal, or wherever it is, welcoming them. So every community can welcome those brothers and sisters, our people, who come and for whatever reason coming to the United States, should know they have a place. So wherever African people gather. So here in Buffalo, that Aquaba House, we're establishing it on Norfolk Avenue, right, with the support of Lincoln Memorial Methodist Church and Pastor George Franklin Nicholas. That's one of the things that's in our hand. The fact that we have claimed our history, whether it's the Underground Railroad, whether it's the fact the first citizen of Buffalo, the first settler in Buffalo, who had a great relationship with the Seneca Lewiston people, Joseph Hodge. What's in our hand? We have land. We have $800 million that we, in the gross community product of Buffalo, that's black wealth. Okay? And you put that in the context of $1 trillion that Africans have in America, that's half the money on earth of Africans is held with these 40-some million Africans in America. We must share that our resources with our brothers and sisters over there in those 67 countries and those other hundreds of millions in the Caribbean Basin and in Europe and in the East and the Far East and in Japan and other places, in China. We are everywhere on the earth, but we must unite. So Mosiah Marcus Garvey, we know he said this: Africa for all Africans at home and abroad. When you come to Buffalo, when you come to Dallas, when you come to Kemper County, Mississippi, when you come to Chicago, wherever it is, we must love on each other. And that's what the objective is, to feel the love. I hope you feel the love collectively of all those free people in Buffalo who are conscious now, who know who they are. Because we know who we are, we can know where we came from, and we can know where we're going. So we support this. And brother, every Sunday in Buffalo, our ears are glued to the radio to hear the word from the Griot Nation. Our own brother Neil Mack, my little brother, grew up on the street on Headley with me. He's always talking you up, brother. And so it's become an indispensable asset of African people. The Griot Nation carries this message. And that's why we're going to see you when all roads lead to D.C. on 10/10/15. The delegation will be here. And we hear those who hear this, my message in Buffalo and in Niagara Falls, Lackawanna, Cheektowaga, in Cleveland, Jamestown, Erie, Pennsylvania, in the Toronto area, in Rochester, Syracuse. Maybe you have to come to Buffalo because we're going to be on the buses. We're coming there. So if you need to come to Buffalo to get organized, to join us in the caravan and in the buses, so be it. But we are going to be there, inshallah, and be there to see you all, as all roads do lead on that day to Washington, D.C., as we call for and hear the justice or else message. I can't wait, and I hope to see you up there, brother. But if you're not, brother, I'll be on the mic.
You know what, brother? I will be there. We're working on this track right now, man, because I know how popular and how powerful popular media is, and I know how powerful the medium of media really is, and how our people are tuned into it. And sometimes even subconsciously we follow its lead other than following our own consciousness. But I understand why and how. But, with that being said, we're working on a piece we call Man Up Your Team on 10/10/15. So it's going to be a rallying cry. It's a song we're working on, man. So I want to put our positive propaganda, the things that take to mobilize us, and get us motivated to keep this and to maintain this. Because I want people to see beyond the march. I want them to see that the march is just a part of the process and there's a bigger goal. And I just want to thank the minister, too, for the vision and all the brothers and sisters who are working with him, because it takes a special person, man, to make this type of call, to get people to get out and do something. And in its simple capacity, that's what this brother has done. It's clear what's going on with us in this country. We can't hide it anymore. But we've been looking at it through somebody else's glasses. And if you're out nation, I'm giving us our own glasses. And I'm taking them hearing plugs out our ears. You know what I'm saying? So the real truth can get there, man. So, hey, man, I just want to tell you thank you, man. And I want to reconnect and find out what I can do on a more consistent basis. Mr. Fisher, just to be a part of the team structure, for getting the word out. We will be there on 10/10/15. But prior to that, if there's anything else I need to do, I want you to know that we are accessible and available.
Yes, brother. Well, I thank you again. We thank you for you have been a gift. And so we're going to connect, because after 10/10/15, as you just said, the work will begin I know here with our own local organizing committee, BLAC, with Student Minister David Muhammad, we're going to do some tremendous things. We're going to grab that energy, grab that rhema word that's going to come forth from all those powerful brothers and sisters. We're going to take that and we're going to come back and make that work in Buffalo until every one of us is free, liberated, conscious, clean, and ready to help the other. So again, thank you, brother, for this opportunity. I'm humbled, and of course, whatever we can do over here in the Valley of Buffalo, you just have to call us, and we will do our best. Peace be unto you, my brother. Peace, peace, peace. Black night.
Hotel, brother, and I want to say to the general audience who'll be listening to this is, during the day, sometime, brother, as we move forward, we'll talk about the ideas and propaganda and all the pieces we got to do to make sure that we're able to accomplish our goals. But it's normally just the ordinary people. I want to thank you, brother, because it's the motivation, to understand that all the work we put in to get Griot Nation, that people are really hearing it and they really care and they feel us, and that makes me feel good and keeps me motivated. And earlier I was talking to Sister Tashika, who's a member of our team too, and she motivates me as well. Periodically I get to talk to some people who I don't talk to as much, but they interrupt that pattern of thinking and say, this is really just about the people. When I hear her talking about getting her children ready, when I'm talking to my parents, and I want to thank Sam Rapper too, for who he is and what he does up there, man. So it's about the people and real, and real conversation at the end of the day. That's what it is. And you and Brother Khalil too, I want to say that to him, because we don't say this enough. We're talking about the process and how it happens, but nobody really understands. These are people who got jobs who busting their ass to make sure that our dreams come true. So I just want to say thank you to everybody at Griot Nation, brother. You, the family, because we all one family. And I just want to close on that, brother.
Asante sana.